So this here is going to be the final part of all of them. I will be showing, like I said, some of these other builds, these PvP builds, all that will be coming out when TU16 or when they revamp the specialists. I'm saving up all those other builds for that, just for that reason, because that way we all know where and what needs to go where. So this final one is going to be about Hunter's Fury. Now, when we're talking about Hunter's Fury, there are two huge, and I mean huge, misconceptions. On top of that, I've seen some really crappy, I mean talking really crappy Hunter's Furies, where people put an armor regen, other people using a pestilence on a fucking Hunter's Fury, and they're not even getting the best damage for it, and telling people that, oh, this is best, oh, this is really good. So we're about to break down the Hunter's Fury, the two hugest misconceptions of this, which should be fairly understandable if you actually read the talent, but we're going to go over it because there's really only about one way to make that type of build and other ways. Now, again, you can use like Ridgeways and Sadist or Wicked on the backpack. You can do Adrenaline Rush, Intimidate, you know, all those players prefer. But the setup is the same. So the biggest misconception is that Hunter's Fury boosts your teammates just by getting close to them. So you can see we got Tutors here. He's shooting. He's sitting for about 164. And as you can see, I'm right here nearby. Now, if you noticed, I'm just standing here. It's not debuffing. And people think that the debuff actually buffs your teammates' damage against them. Wrong. It's just a debuff to the enemy. Now, you can debuff them, and that will count. So when you're playing in PvP or PvE, that helps them out. But because you're going to status affect them when you kill a nearby enemy, the best thing to put on is the crossbow. Because you're going to be able to status effect said enemy, and you're not wasting anything. Because the firewall, you already have health on kill maxed out, so don't waste it. So as you can demonstrate right here, we're so far away. Again, we have the Hunter's Fury on. As you can see, we have this, and this is what we're talking about. The Apex Predator is it debuffs the enemy by 20%. Now that works anywhere, but that's being close to them. But that does not give you extra damage. Only gives you extra damage when you damage the enemy nearby, and then the other enemy that you debuffed because of the damage that you did to them and gave them that status effect. That's what gives it to them. So you can see we get closer. He's hitting for 164. He's still hitting for 164, as you can see right there on average, or a little bit higher. It's still, we can see the 400, but the 164, which was easier to see, you see I got closer, it didn't do anything. So it does debuff the enemy. Now, we also have a different one. So as you can see, we have two targets nearby, side by side. I'm going to kill the one on the left. As you can see, he's hitting for 171 right there on the beginning. So I shoot, gives him that, 180 something. So I status affected, gave him that damage, and it jumped up 188. So he got a boost, but not that big. So the build itself is very simple. Because you're doing status effect to multiple enemies that you were to call or kill, causing the concussed, gives you more damage for your teammates with using crossbow than using firewall. Because though the firewall, yes, you will be closer and you can give them that 10% extra damage if you wanted to, the health on kill is wasted. So you might as well use something that doesn't waste anything. So even the Grenadier, where if your armor were to crack, would give you that instant reload. It gives your teammates the damage targets to the cover. You can avoid some explosives for PvE. Those are better than using the firewall. Even this right here gives you ammo, gives you armor on kill. And since it's, what, 15% or 20% armor on kill, then you jump it up to 30. That's even good. This one right here, not so much. Nor the sniper rifle. None of those really help out. The one that, honest to God, helps you out the most would be a crossbow, or the Grenadier would help you the most in that type of build, or the minigunner. So again, not bad to use a firewall if you want to, but it's a lot of wasted because you're not getting that health on kill. So that's honestly player's choice. Me, I would go with the Grenadier or the crossbow for said build. Now, as for the build itself, the best setup you're going to have is an SMG and a shotgun for whatever you want. Now you can use whatever SMG you prefer, honestly. The SIG MPX just gives you even more damage, but on top of that, having close and personal also helps. Now, again, you can use also any exotic SMG, but a KSG shotgun is honestly by far just as strong as, say, like the Lullaby or the M870. It's only short by about 200k, but because you have this big mag, if you can get one with pummel on there, you can put these mods on and have it set up like this, where basically you can walk around. Once it's maxed out, you can one tap a yellow, but you have those extra rounds as a backup just in case you might have to reload. Now, again, you can even use a Scorpio shotgun. You can use a Sweet Dreams. Basically, any kind of shotgun you want on this build, set up like this, just helps it out. So, other than that, pretty much just having whatever chest piece count you want. You don't have to run Intimidate because of its nerf, but if you want to run Intimidate, by all means, go ahead. But having the 4-piece for PvE side is really good for this extra talent, because once you start getting kills, you're going to stack up an extra 25% damage. So that's a guaranteed 25 the whole time while you're in combat. I think it goes away in 10 or something seconds on average, maybe 15. I gotta read that again, but still, either way, having that extra bit is beneficial. Now, for PvE or PvP, that talent you're not too worried about, because unless you're just killing people left and right that just keep coming at you, it's not really going to be beneficial. Now, again, we're sitting at 57% crit chance. Then that crit chance, the Seska on the chest piece, is mainly for the shotgun. So we can get that extra crit chance onto it. Now, if you want to, you can go with a Grupo, because you're going to be using SMGs. Now, the Grupo would help you out a little bit more because you already have that damage versus using a piece of Sokolov, but you can even use Sokolov if you want to, or Badger Tough for your chest piece. Just depends on what you want. And then you can trade off some of that crit chance, to crit damage on your SMG as you see fit, to where you're at the 50 mark and get even more damage out of the build completely. Now, again, that's also player's choice still. And again, the shotgun, whatever you want. But as you can see, we're sitting at the shotgun at 26%, so that extra Seska would bring it up to 36%, and we're not losing as much. So again, that's also player's choice. Now, I can't demonstrate the memento stacks in here or anything like that, but of course, if you have that armor regen from the memento and the damage, it's honestly, the memento just synergizes with this setup the most. So you have that high armor on kill, you have that health on kill, you're getting kills to get even more damage, you're staying close to things, you get that extra armor regen, that extra weapon damage off the memento. It just makes this thing into a beast mode type build. And that's pretty much the simplicity of Hunter's Fury. So, I'll demonstrate with the shotgun. And you see, you think you were about to run out on that 12th shot, but you didn't. But again, once you start getting those extra kills and pummel mixed into there, it kicks in so much faster. Where you're basically 3-tapping, and eventually you can start 2-tapping yellows because you get that extra status effect, which debuffs them or gives you more damage. So